Ladbrokes Owner Entain are in trouble again, just months after their £17 million fine. Their share price tumbled after news emerged that HMRC are likely to issue a substantial fine over bribery and misconduct. But what have they done this time, and will another fine make any difference at all? Let's take a deep dive into what's really going on here and explain it so that everybody can understand, because this is shocking. To set the scene for those that are unaware, Entain is a parent company that owns multiple betting brands. Ladbrokes, Coral, bwin, Sportingbet, Party Poker, Gala Bingo are just a few that you might recognise, although there are many more. Up until 2020, they were previously known as GVC Holdings, but they changed their name. So why did they do that? Well, it came after GVC received a £5.9 million fine in 2019 for a lack of checks on money laundering and problem gambling. According to iGaming Business, the name change was to reflect a socially responsible future. Translated into layman's terms, they were trying to detach themselves from their bad reputation, one that has made them a lot of money. To put that statement into context, they had a total revenue of $3.83 billion with earnings of $881 million in 2021, a significant increase in earnings on the previous year of around $40 million. Now, I'll share the most recent numbers in a second, but this is relevant to highlight just how ridiculous recent events are and how greedy this company is. Previous to this week's news, they'd set the record for bad behaviour with a £17 million fine from the UK Gambling Commission just last year. The reason, as stated by the Gambling Commission, was social responsibility and anti-money laundering failures again. So I'm guessing the name change didn't do all that much. In layman's terms, they weren't sufficiently checking the gambling addicts for harm or if criminals were attempting to clean dirty money, both of which we can assume as a highly profitable business. When the fine was announced on the 17th of August, the share price dropped around 30%. Now just pause for a second and think about this. The government are currently giving companies like this more power to demand consumers' bank statements and sensitive financial information. More details on that in my previous white paper video linked in the description down below. Somehow their integrity is never questioned as they misuse customer data and tools like IE Snare, a program designed to counter fraud and money laundering by injecting spyware into your browser. Yep, that's right. The bookies are tracking customers' every move, even beyond their own websites, all in the name of money laundering and social responsibility. Until you win some money, of course, and then they don't want to pay out, because that's something else that they use these tools for. Now, the government white paper was released in mid-April, causing a surge in the company's share price, as you can see here on the screen. And it's not hard to see why, with the government putting them in charge of policing themselves on issues like money laundering and social responsibility. Many of you guys have complained about this on a previous Ladbrokes video. This 1984 style data tracking is out of hand and being used for commercial gain when it comes to withholding winnings, state restrictions and grid cards. For those of you who are unaware, a grid card is a cunning way of Ladbrokes tracking your in-shop betting activity too, disguised as a loyalty card. The broader audience might be surprised to hear this because these issues are generally kept out of the media. Companies like Entain spend hundreds of millions on censoring the general public's view, whilst amplifying anti-gambling campaigners' stories that ultimately benefit them by demanding yet even more consumer data. Yep, even the anti-gambling charities are in on the gravy train too. The media is anything but transparent on these issues, and it's certainly not fair and open as per the regulator's licensing objectives. So what have they actually done this time, and will a fine solve the problem? Entain announced to City shareholders that they are facing a substantial financial penalty this week, which has already sent the share price into freefall. It's over a dispute with their Turkish phasing business and HMRC. According to Morgan Stanley, the cash flow generated from the Turkish business between 2011 and 2017 amounted to around £230 million. Although the fine isn't likely to be anywhere near as big. It's even said that they may get a 30% discount on their fine for cooperating with HMRC, which is just typical of this government, really. Let that sink in for a second. There's a 30% discount on an offence when the offender works with HMRC to share some of the proceeds. Is it any wonder that such bad behaviour happens over and over and over again? The state is effectively working with the criminals for a cut of the profits. Now, this is an ongoing investigation, so details are a little bit patchy in places, although it's said that most of the offences fall under the Section 7 of the Bribery Act, which is related to instances where the company has failed to prevent an individual bribing another person or entity on their behalf. Yes, you heard that right. Bribery. And these are the people that the government are putting in charge of gambling harm checks and able to demand unrestricted access to customers' finances via open banking. According to the Financial Times, HMRC first focused on the wrongdoing of third-party suppliers in 2019 until they realised former employees were involved in bribery. That's confirmed in the This Is Money article, where the Ladbrokes owner said the potential offences, including breaching bribery law and possible misconduct involving ex-employees and former third-party suppliers. The company also told investors that they're in deferred prosecution agreement talks with the Crown Prosecution Service, working towards a resolution. Although a substantial financial penalty is expected, but here's the kicker. The analysts don't expect Entain's UK gambling licence to be affected. Barry Gibson, chairman of Entain, told This Is Money, "We are keen to achieve a resolution to what is an historical issue relating principally to business that was sold by the group nearly 6 years ago." So there you have it. They're blaming former employees and third-party suppliers. They're just never responsible, are they? Despite that name change. I wonder if old Baz was involved with the company around the same time. He went on to say Entain has been through a period of extraordinary transformation since then and has taken decisive action to be a best-in-class, responsible operator with outstanding corporate governance. So when it comes to social responsibility, I guess he must have forgotten about the £17 million fine that they had last year for the exact same reason that they were fined £5.9 million in 2019 whilst he worked at the company. But I guess that's just easy to do when you consider that Entain's revenue was up 12% over the last year to £4.29 billion with earnings of £993 million for the year. The fine being merely pocket change. I doubt he even noticed it as the non-executive chairman of the company. So the big question is, do we think the financial penalty will stop this behaviour in the future? To me, the answer is clear. Fines are just the cost of doing business for these greedy corporations. They have no intention of playing fair and they're quite happy to exploit regulation, as this video proves here in the end screen. Check it out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.